All right, it looks like we're right at the top of the hour. So hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us for the Koha Community Gifted series, where we work with our partner libraries to share some great ideas and tips. Today, we have with us Brendan Lawlor, who's the systems manager at CLAMS, which is the Cape Libraries Automated Material Sharing. He is going to be talking to us about the Koha testing Docker. And with that, we will pass it over to him. As always, Kelly and I will be monitoring chat. If you have any questions, let us know. Thank you, Brendan, so much for being part of this series, and we'll pass it over to you.
Thank you, Jesse and Kelly. I'm honored to be a part of this series, and my name is Brendan Lawlor. I'm the systems manager at CLAMS. We serve 38 libraries across Cape Cod and the islands in southeastern Massachusetts. We started the process of migrating to Koha and Aspen, supported by Bywater, just about, let's say, a year and a half ago, we went live. And so I've been a Koha user and administrator for that amount of time. And since about a little over half a year ago, I started to sign off on some patches and contribute some small patches to Bugzilla. So I just wanted to kind of talk about my experience and show some tips and share some things. So this thing here, I just started this little blog so that I can kind of write down my thoughts about things as they happen, kind of like my own little personal documentation to try to stay on top of it before I forget everything. But I just want to let you know, like, I'm still learning. There might be some mistakes, some things omitted. So let me know if you see anything where I can improve it, because I would love to hear your feedback. And this funny subtitle, A Chronosynclastic Infundibulum, that's a literary reference. So I have here a vintage CLAMS pencil for the first person who can spot the literary reference. Okay, let's go. Basically, I wanted to kind of talk about my first patches, and then I'll show you an example in real life of how you can apply a patch from Bugzilla and test, see if it does what it does, and sign off. My first patch, I actually did it last September, my first sign off. I was at the KohaCon in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and I had got Koha testing Docker working, but I didn't quite have it all hooked up to Bugzilla and everything. And I sat down with Bywater staff, developers, Lucas and Nick, and they kind of helped me get the last couple pieces in order and signed off on my first patch. And it was so exciting, and I just wanted to keep doing that. So I think, hopefully, what I like about signing off on patches is you get to like learn a little bit more about the system, maybe see some new ideas, and you might get inspired to do something else. You might have new ideas, or just learning more about how Koha works. And it's kind of like time traveling too, because you can see things like new features before they're released, and you can also see where potential new issues are before they're in your production system. So you kind of like, you're staying ahead of the curve if you are in Koha testing Docker and trying out patches. So a few months after the conference, I was kind of like signing off on a couple of bugs, and this bug is kind of special to me because this is the bug that I was testing when I found the first thing that I knew how to patch, because it was just one character wrong in an HTML tag. So I was running the test plan for this bug, putting the HTML files through the validator, and then I spotted one other thing that I could submit a patch for. So that was kind of the smallest thing that you can possibly do, pretty much. Change one character, but it was really exciting. It was kind of like a big stepping stone for me. Um, so then a while went by. I kind of like signed off on a couple more patches, but I kind of didn't. I didn't have any direction really. I don't know what was happening, but one day I was testing somebody else's bug patch for the item search, and the item search button was broken. So I went on to the Koha IRC at the time. Now it's Mattermost everybody's using, but I went on there and somebody said, "Hey, well, have you seen this bug? I think it might be related to this uh, CSRF bug." And sure enough, I went there and I saw somebody else had a different part of Koha, but it was the same issue, and they had submitted a patch where they changed a post request into a get request, and that solved the issue. So I kind of just based my patch off of the other patch, and so my next patch was to delete one line of Koha, and that was also really small, but also kind of exciting that it was on a critical bug. And then since then, there's been a few more of these CSRF bugs that I have. One of them that I found and patched, and one of them somebody else reported, but I found the part of the code where the issue lies, and this new one is kind of an interesting one. So I'm still watching that one. Um, and and at the same time, I think if you're like testing and maybe you're experimenting, writing some little patches, or just maybe you're just writing a goofy little experimental thing for yourself to learn. Um, it's good to always have like a few different things going on at once, because I think like you get frustrated in one area, you go try a different thing out. You go test this bug, you can't figure out how to test that bug, find another bug. So it's good to always have kind of like a few different things in the pipeline. My first big thing was I do a lot of reporting at CLAMS, and I love Koha reports and being able to use the runtime parameters. So I one thing that I wanted to see if we could enhance is to be able to get multiple selections in the drop down selection. So so it took me a while, and thank you to everybody in the community that I asked questions to and who was very supportive. Um, I managed to get it working pretty much, and then it failed QA, and then it passed QA, and then it failed QA again. And but at the end of the day, it was just released in 2405, and there was another bug related to that to improve kind of the user interface of when you add the parameters, and I was able to do that one. I'll show you that in a little bit. But I think it's one thing is I want to make a point is to kind of follow up on the bugs. If you get involved in a bug, it's good to like stay involved with it, because other things will pop up, and it's cool to continue your work and kind of get that momentum, and so and it keeps you like learning, and it keeps maybe somebody else has a new bug. So I think this is the moment after it was pushed to main for 2020 2405 release. I wanted to improve it because I saw another bug on the item search which improved the way that the multi-select fields looked like. So in a moment, I'll show you this bug that I recently worked on. And then somebody else posted a new bug saying, hey, that your previous patch has an issue. So I'll show you this bug is to fix a little problem with the enhancement that was released in 2405. So hopefully those can get fixed soon, and we can. But I'll show you now a demonstration, I guess, of what the enhancement looks like, what's the bug with it, and also how to apply the patch and test to see the difference. So hopefully this is going to be a live kind of demonstration. So hopefully all goes well. I kind of got everything prepped, but you never know. So let's go. So here's the problem, and Pedro outlined a good test plan of how to replicate the problem. So if you use this example query and you only pick one and one, the value is wrong. So I'm going to go into Koha testing Docker here. See, I have a report. Oops. I have a report written here from the test plan. And if I run the report, you see now you have multi-select dropdown, which is good. If you do, let's say, 2 libraries and 1 item type, and you run the report, and you can look at the SQL code, you can see that those are filled properly. But if you do 1 of each, and you run the report, sad trombone, the second parameter is filled in wrong. So that's the bug here that Pedro reported. And so I went back to the code and I submitted a patch. So now I want to take note of this bug number, and I'll go into just to speed things up. I already ran KTD up, and everything happens here. This is a little simulation of what happens. And then it says at the end, somewhere in there, it says, I appear to be done. Restart everything and enjoy. So now I'm ready to apply the patch. One thing you want to do is keep this terminal open. Don't close it, because if you close this terminal, it will kind of shut Koha testing Docker down. So I'm using Visual Studio Code. There's probably other ways of people doing it, but this way I tried to document as much as possible for somebody with like assumed no experience, how to do it on that the blog, which I'll show you in a little bit. So now we want to apply the patch. So we're going to do git, oops, not in there. Okay, git bz apply 37077, enter. Oh, wait, I'm not in the right folder, sorry. I need to run KTD shell to go to the Koha testing Docker prompt. But previously I was just in my Windows subsystem for Linux prompt. So now I will do the same command, 37077, and when it runs, hopefully it will apply. It's going to say, do you want to apply this patch? Yes. Okay, so now it doesn't really look like it did much, but if you wanted to look into the code, you could find that it has applied this diff. So basically it was like, it's one of these off by 1 errors that is the worst thing in programming. Now let's test our report. One more thing before we go back and test the report, we need to kind of restart the Apache server in Koha testing Docker. So we're going to do restart all, restart all, and just let that run for a couple seconds. And when you get back to the prompt, then you're pretty much ready to go. Sometimes other test plans will say some other commands that you might need to run, like you might need to run something to update the database if there was a patch that affected the database structure, or you might need to do yarn build if there was something that is like yarn build if there's something with like CSS and user interface stuff that's changed. You might need to do different commands. If it's not in the test plan, all the commands are on the Koha testing Docker GitHub, and also some other people have cheat sheets out there, and I try to put all the commands in my guide, but I might have missed some stuff. So now we go back here, and let's try to do this query again. So we'll run the report for one Centerville and one books. We run, and now we get results because we applied the patch, and we can finish the test plan is to look in here and see that those parameters were filled properly. So you applied the patch, you follow the test plan, you confirm that it works, and now you can go and attach it to Bugzilla. So I'm not going to do this step all the way, but I do want to kind of show a bit of this step because it is a little bit different, and maybe not everybody has seen this text editor before called Vim, and I'll just kind of briefly show how that part works. So you can see when you've applied a patch, you can see if you do git status that your branch is ahead of main by one commit. So that's the one commit that we applied from Bugzilla, and we can do things like we can run the QA script. That's another thing that you can do in Koha testing Docker. It's really good too when so it passes the QA. Sometimes if you have some like bad formatting or your code didn't follow some of the coding guidelines, there'll be a little warning here, and you can hopefully figure out what the issue is, or you can ask about it on Mattermost, and somebody can help you understand what the issue is. So now, if I was going to attach this to Bugzilla, I would do git bz attach e because I want to edit it, really because I want to cancel it and not post it to Bugzilla. But and then the number of the patch, which I forgot already, is 37077. 37077. And then after the bug number, you'll put head if it's one patch. If the bug has multiple attachments, so you're when you do git status, it says you're 2 commits or 3 commits ahead. Then you would do like a tilde and then the number, like 2 or 3, and then ... and enter. But this patch just has one commit, so we're going to do this, and it's going to open up this, which is it's a text editor, a terminal-based text editor called Vim. And what you can do here is you can edit this. If you were writing your own patch, you could edit anything before you post it up to Bugzilla. You can come down here and change the status of the bug before you post it up to Bugzilla. So let's say I wanted to like sign this off. In Vim, you can use the character I to go into insert mode, and escape to get out of insert mode to go into command mode. And that's kind of the big concept that is weird for people that are new to Vim, sorry. So I would go insert mode, and then I can delete this comment, and that would, then when I attach it, it will change the status in Bugzilla. And now to get out of Vim, you may have seen some memes about that. You need to escape out of insert mode, and then type in a colon to start your command, and then because you made a change, you'll do WQ, and that will write the change and quit Vim. But I'm not going to do that because I don't want to attach this to Bugzilla right now and send emails to people. So I'm just going to quit out of this. I just used Control Z to exit that. And that's a Control Z, you can Control Z or Control C in the Linux terminal, you can kind of stop processes. Okay, so that was like a little demo of signing off on a patch. I hope that everybody enjoyed it and maybe got something out of it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, or if you're still here, put a comment in the chat. I think we can now quickly reset and apply another patch, or maybe we can just leave this patch attached because it doesn't really, well, it might conflict, I guess. So if I want to reset, I'll do git reset hard origin main, and then I can do git pull so that, hopefully this will be not too fast, not too long. And then if I do git status again, I'll see that I'm back up to date. So let's see. Let me do git bz apply. Oops. This one is 37050. I'm going to apply this bug, which is going to hopefully show. This is okay. This shows you something different, I guess. This would be there's a conflict. Something changed in the main code, and it can't merge the patch. So the patch will have to be refactored. Oh, that's a kind of a bummer. I wanted to show that, but if you get here, you can just read these instructions and just do git bz apply abort, and then you'll be back to main with no changes applied. Anyways, I can show another one maybe. Let's do git bz apply 14322. So this is one that I was working on recently to add a link to add a button that can share an item search link. So in the item search here, you can create something like this. Item type is book, collection is fiction. Some search like this. I'm not going to make it too complicated. And then when we search it, now there's this copy shareable link button, and you can copy the link and and this patch still needs a tiny bit of work. There's one problem with it, but now when I share the link, it will do the search and it fills the form for you when you paste it in there. So that's my latest thing that I've been working on. Still need some work, but I'm hoping that it will be in the 24/11 release. And yeah, I guess one other thing I wanted to kind of share about Koha testing Docker is you can also connect it up to the Aspen called Aspen DevBox Docker, and you can basically have them both running side by side. So I have done this. I set this up earlier. So I have the Aspen Docker running here from these two repositories, and then I have Koha testing Docker running, and so you can have Aspen running locally and play around with that. I haven't really got that far working with that, but it's fun and exciting that you can do that. And I guess to finish it all off, I have these guides here showing some of the Git concepts that will help you kind of understand this how to use Git a little bit. It's not perfect, but it's kind of like notes, crash course. And then this little diagram is like how the development process kind of works, how a bug can get patched into main, and at the same time, other people are working on enhancements and features. And this diagram I kind of like because from a high level, like how does Koha work? When you land on a URL with CGI bin slash somefile.perl, basically now you're in this loop kind of between the browser and the Perl file, and then the Perl file takes some data or inputs from the browser, does some magical Perl logic, passes some parameters onto the template toolkit. So these are all these things link to some other resources that you can learn more about it. But template toolkit then takes the parameters from the Perl file, renders the HTML, and sends it back to the browser. Sometimes there can be JavaScript in the browser doing other stuff that you have to, okay, this form is submitting the default way, or this form is getting overridden by JavaScript. So that's kind of things to keep in mind there. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have, I guess. I think if you're just getting started, start getting on Bugzilla and learn about the Koha development process, check the manual, the wiki, and yeah, go get on Mattermost and make friends. That's all.
Amazing. And did you save that little nugget with the item search to the end? Because Kelly and I love the
Oh,
item search. We're in the item search fan club.
oh, thank you. I'm in the item. I like the item search too. So
Oh,
I like item search, and I like reports. Are my favorite parts of Koha, maybe.
of course.
Brendan, this is amazing visualization because if you saw my notes on how to use my Koha testing Docker, it's like just all scribbles. So I love the visualization and just the amount of detail that you've put into this. This is amazing for, what did you say, 6 months, a year that you've been doing this? So
A little over 6 months since I started using Koha testing Docker. So I think this has other things like about links to all the dependency stuff, and I try to put in little bits, tips and tricks everywhere that I could, but could probably be organized better. So kind of it's like all just a dump, but it's a start. I wanted to start like documenting for myself, so this is a good way. for me to learn the process and kind of do all that. And then I can blog about things like Global Bug Swashing Day, and I can link to Bugzilla things. So hopefully I'll continue to work on this blog. I've had a bad habit of not actually following through on blogs that I've started, but hopefully I'll work on this one.
This is great. This has been a great presentation. One tip that really stuck through in the beginning when you were talking about like just trying things and you get stuck and it's not working and you have a list of others to move on to, like just brilliant, because how many times that happens to us when we're testing or trying things and you just get stuck and you're like, leave, let's get a fresh perspective, come back. And that's a tip that stuck with. It's been very informative.
Yeah, and just I think the thing to take away is like the more you get involved, the more you can get back and receive out of. So the more you kind of give to the community, the more that you can get out of it too. And that's kind of the cool thing about open source.
GiftED, you're giving back right now, Brendan. Thank you. Thank you
Mhm.
for sharing all of your insight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, for those that are still with us, for our next series, which will be happening in August, here is a link. We will have Sarah Cornell from Portsmouth, and she'll be talking about bibliographic frameworks. So we hope you can join us. Thank you again, Brendan and Kelly, and we'll see you all next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.